for example, I mean, I reached out to you directly. I sent you an email, and when I send out these emails to reach out to people to be guests on this show, my expectations are quite low. I have people who I'm like, I would love to have them on, but I don't expect them at all to. You don't owe me anything. Like, you don't know me. Like, you're not. We this is the first time we're meeting, so I don't feel as if, okay, if Mark never responds to me, then he's a terrible person. But I do get the sense, though, and I feel this way too, from just like the past work that I've done in the past, where you feel like, oh, if I don't respond to this person, then maybe they're gonna think poorly of me. When in real, or if I say no to this person, they're gonna think poorly of me. When in reality, like, especially from someone like you who has, again, quite a few subscribers on your YouTube channel, just to be acknowledged, just to be seen, is, I think, that's cool in itself. Like, it amazes me. I'm honestly amazed that you came on this podcast, to be honest.
Oh man, thanks for
So
having me.
I
Yeah.
it's I've had a couple people who I'm like, holy crap, like, they're coming on this podcast, and I just reached out to them, and or even the ones who just responded and took the time to decline. It's awesome for me, like, when I have that.
Well, it's wild. I think I got this from Tim Ferriss, the book 4 Hour Work Week. You'd be amazed by how many responses you get from just sending out emails. Like you could email George Bush, Bill Clinton, Obama, and Trump. You could try to find their email somehow, and you would probably get an email back from one of them. Probably not, actually. I don't know. Like you could email like five. Maybe this is from Tony Robbins. Actually, I don't know. But you email five people you admire, and like one of them will get back to you. And it's important to have role models and people that. And I always make an effort to get in touch with people that I admire. Maybe I'm just like a fanboy. Like I fanboy out hard.
Yeah.
um, yeah, because it's like they've paved the way, so you don't have to do everything for the first time yourself. You don't have to like force your way through these. You can look at the path they took and just kind of warp speed go down that path. And I've gotten really good advice from the people that I admire. And Paul Stamets, the I don't know if your audience knows this guy, but he's the mushroom expert. And I've had the pleasure of talking to him this morning, but on several occasions, and he's given me some good advice. And when a wise, older, successful person gives me advice, I listen to it. And I think it's important to seek advice. A lot of advice that comes to us is unsolicited, and it's kind of useless. Like, I don't want advice that I didn't ask for. But at the same time, you should seek out some advice. I don't know everything, and nobody else does. So it's good to always kind of have that like northern star to navigate. Like, where am I going, and like, why am I doing this? If you know why you're doing something, you can conquer any how. So know your why.
Yeah, and and again, going back to what we're talking about in terms of just the age that we live in, right? With the internet, the world is a much smaller place, like, and again, creators like yourself, people who are making content on YouTube, or if it's Instagram or now TikTok or whatnot, like, you are normal people. You are not. I think there's a tendency for, like, the audience, especially if they haven't necessarily created anything or published anything themselves, to kind of think of you guys as, like, on a higher plane. But in reality, it's like, no. The only difference is that you decided to press publish, and
Right.
this person just hasn't yet. And you've just done it, like you said, consistently over time, and then you built up that audience.
Yeah, and just reach out to people you admire, and you'll get a response from somebody. And it was funny last week. I heard a song from my favorite musical artist DJ. His name's Gareth Emery, and I was like, I get an idea for a music video from this song. So I wrote him. I said, "Hey, look, you mind if I tell you my idea for a music video?" And there's no concerts now, so he's just sitting at home in his pajamas,
Uh-huh.
like, "Yeah, sure, I'd love to hear your idea about a music video." And I told him this long idea, and he read this whole thing, and he loved it so much. He's like, "You know what? I'm gonna make this." And like we were going through like the budget of the scenes, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna cut you into this next video." And I'm like, "Okay." Like, you have an idea, and you can either act on it or not, but there's really nothing to lose if you act on it. I mean, if you lose, you go back to right where you started.
Yeah. I did the same thing too. And I'm doing this quite a bit aside from like reaching out to people to come on the podcast is, for example, I'll subscribe to email lists like people who I admire. Substacks is growing now. There are a lot of good newsletters out there, and sometimes I'll just respond back to the newsletters, and the creators of those Substacks will respond to me. A week ago, I was listening to the Moment podcast with why is his name escaping me right now? The creator of Billions, the TV show. And he also created Rounders. Well, anyways, he had Brian Koppelman is the guy who I'm thinking of, and he had Adam Grant, who is the an author and a professor at the Wharton School of Business, wrote one of my favorite books called Give and Take. And there was something that they talk about on that podcast that I said, "Oh, I have something to contribute. Let me send them an email and pass along this item that I think might be interesting to them." And I sent them an email, and lo and behold, like within 24 hours, Adam Grant responded back to me and said, "Thanks, I'm gonna check this out. Thank you for passing it along." The same thing happened too. I reached out to Mark Manson, the author of the Orange Book, The Subtle Art. Right? I was listening to a Tim Ferriss episode where he had Michael Phelps on, and Michael Phelps talked about how that was one of his favorite books. And I sent it over to Mark. He's like, "Wow, I didn't even know Michael Phelps read my book. Thanks for passing this along." And so, just little things like that. It's just it's possible to do now.
Yeah, you never know who's watching your stuff, and you never know who's going to respond. I get messages from people, and I'm blown away by who's like I got a message the other day from Jaden Smith,
Oh
Will,
wow.
and he said how much he loved my videos, and I was like, "Who is this guy?" I was like, "Wait a second, the guy from Pursuit of Happiness." I remember when they filmed that in San Francisco, and like this guy's watching my videos, and he's this big star. Uh, Brian Grazer, the makes movies like Friday Night Lights and The Mask and Liar Liar and Blue Crush, these huge movies. He's watching the YouTube channel, and he's like, "Oh yeah, me and Kevin Hart watched your video." Yeah, I showed it to him, and I'm like, "Dude, that's crazy." And like, yeah, it's pretty surreal, to be honest. Yeah.
It's wild. Like I'm curious when you reach out to some of these people, like you mentioned the artist Gareth Emery, Sam Harris. How are you going about finding their contact information?
Uh, Typically, it's just through their website, and they got a contact form, and but they read those.
Mm.
They don't have that contact form for nothing. I think email is still the best way to get in touch with somebody. Instagram messages are probably the second best way. Usually get a response there. And yeah, my Instagram messages are filled with like blue check marks, and it's pretty cool. Like a lot of these people, I don't know what they do, how they got so big, but I talked to like politicians, and I was talking to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. the
Oh
other week.
wow.
That guy, he's my dude. And unfortunately, they just kicked him off of Instagram. So the conversation just says like anonymous Instagrammer. It doesn't even say his name anymore. But I was talking to Tulsi Gabbard a couple weeks ago, who's a lot of these people have been on the Joe Rogan podcast, and that's if I like the Joe Rogan podcast episode they did, then I'll reach out to them. And a lot of these people want to be contacted. They they like feedback, and if your email stands out, they'll get back to you. Yeah,
There,
especially now when 2020 people are just sitting at home reading their emails all day. There's nothing
yeah.
else to do.
Hey there, thank you so much for watching this excerpt of the Videocraft Show presented by Video Husky. If you're a content creator that struggles to organize scripture ideas for your videos, I've got a resource for you. You can get a copy of our free script template. Using it can help you structure your videos and save you hours of time from filming in the process. To get it, all you have to do is just scroll down on this video, find the link in the description, and subscribe to our email list. From there, it'll get delivered straight to your inbox right after you sign up. And by the way, if you're enjoying these videos, can you do us just a quick favor and hit the like button before you go? And if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel too, to stay up to date with all the content that we're creating here on this channel. And finally, be sure to tune into the Videocraft Show presented by Video Husky on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever it is that you get your podcasts. We've got links in the description down below. If you want to watch or listen to the full episode, just tap the video right next to me over here, and that'll take you to the entire episode in which this excerpt is from. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.